Hi, I'm Lori with craftroomtime.com, and I'm here to bring you another wonderful video. Please like and subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications. And here we go. I'm going to show you how to make this cute round wooden sign for Christmas. First, let's upload the image. Browse for your SVG and open it. Go ahead and click on the upload button. Select the image, the green boxes around it, and add to canvas. It comes in grouped, so let's go ahead and ungroup it. This is sized for a 15-inch round wooden sign, and the black here is just to give you reference so you can paint the bottom half of your sign black. I'm going to go ahead and delete that as we do not need to cut that. Select the top words "Join Us for Some" and click on Attach. Select the bottom "Christmas Cheer" together and attach. Go ahead and move the Christmas cheer off to the side a little bit so we can get to the wine glasses. Select the middle of the glasses and the stems and attach. And now go ahead and select the tops of the glasses, which you may not be able to reach, so we may have to go off to the other side. I can grab that one, but let's go down a little bit on the right side and select the basic cut Christmas cheer basic cuts for the round tops. They're together, and go ahead and attach those so that when you cut everything it will be exactly where you need it to be. All right, then you should be able to go ahead and cut now. Let's go to make it. And since we're cutting this out on heat transfer vinyl, let's go ahead and mirror all the mats. So go through each mat and mirror it. Okay, and then we'll go back up through and make sure that everything looks good. Good, and then rearrange anything that you want to save vinyl. We can move this just a little bit on the white and save quite a bit of vinyl there. All right, we're ready to cut, so go ahead and continue. We'll go ahead and we will select the heat transfer vinyl, and I used non-Cricut for both Cricut and non-Cricut. It does remind you to mirror, but we already did that, so we're good. So now you'll just load your mats. Be sure that you use a green mat and use your brayer to adhere the heat transfer vinyl to the mat so that it's secure, and make sure that the shiny side of the heat transfer vinyl is down. That's the transfer side, and the matte side should be facing up. Okay, to get started painting your round, first you're going to want to take a piece of painter's tape and just tape off approximately in the middle. The bottom part's going to be for the black, and the top part will be for the white parts of the wording. So I'm going to pick the better side for the top and the lower side for the black. So it's going to come down to there, so that should be about right. All I'm doing is taking my black acrylic paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and brush it on to my wood. I'm going to do this, brush downward from the tape so that my black doesn't seep underneath it. And then the rest I can just paint straight across. Okay, now that that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off. And what I can do, just to make sure that I'm not going to impede on the black, I'm going to go ahead and tape over the black line here. Get that sealed down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some water and add it to my brown paint just to make a wash. So that it's like a stain. Just don't want it too dark, so I'm going to add some more water to it. That looks good. Then I'll go ahead and put it on my top part just like a stain. So if it is too dark, you can add more water to it, and you can also add a lighter brown to the mix, but once this dries, it's going to be light, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And I do like the darker wood stain. I think it's pretty. Do the same thing here, get that edge, work around it, and then just pull it out so that it's going with the wood grain. And I like my wood grain going from left to right instead of up and down, so I'm very methodical about how my wood round is being painted and laid and everything. Okay, so now that's got a nice coat of acrylic wash. Just want it to be pretty even. All right, and then we'll let that dry, and then I will come back and we will attach the heat transfer vinyl. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to be using the Cricut mini press to be doing the board. And I've got my parchment paper as well as my designs. I'm going to move this off to the side for a second. All right, so I'll start with the black part first. I've already weeded this just to get an idea of where it needs to go. Try to make it as straight as possible. I'll leave a little space between the black and the top part. And then I also have my wine glasses too, but I kind of want to even on both sides. And my bow is going to be up here, so I don't want it to go too high. So I think that looks good. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, my Easy Press Mini is set for the highest temperature. And as soon as it's ready, I will go ahead and iron this on. I'm not going to use that big press because I can control where I'm going and not cover the whole wood, and make sure that it's down, pressed down really well for the words. And I have found that the mini press works really well for this on the wood. So just give it some pressure, move it along. You can almost tell when it's adhered really well. There's no bubbles, and it starts to lift off of the transfer sheet. So just really like doing it this way. And I am applying heavy pressure to it. I want it to really sink into that wood. And I'm going to try to stay on top of the transfer tape and not get on the wood itself. Now before I lay this down, I am going to put the wine glasses on, make sure I have enough room for them. And I do. I think they'll be fine right there. Okay, and then the red part will go here. I'm not gonna do this just yet because I have to layer it. And then the white part, well, I used pink. I didn't have any blue, so I used pink for the tops of the glasses, so that looks fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get these ironed on. See, it's starting to move a little bit. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to press on these. Okay. In the meantime, I can go ahead and get my wine glasses going. Okay, let's see. So the red sits right on top of the stems and right below the white. Cover this with parchment paper because you don't want to be lifting that white up. Alright, so I'll just wait for that to cool down. It's looking really cute so far. Happy with the way it looks. Of course, you can go back over it if you want to, as long as you're using your parchment paper. And I have found that if you do this after you pull it up, it does kind of melt that glue down into the board so it doesn't show so shiny, the glue underneath the heat transfer vinyl on the sides of it. So it's nice just to go back over the whole thing again. That turned out really nice. So next we'll go on and we'll make the bow. I'm going to go ahead and make my bow. So I'm going to start with my wire and I'm just going to cut off just some of it. I don't know, that's probably about a foot of floral wire. I don't need the red ribbon just yet, so I'm going to set that aside. I have my buffalo plaid. Now I had already cut them down, and I'll give you the measurements for this in the instructions, the written instructions, but I believe it's basically 2 feet, so this would be 4 feet altogether. So I'm going to start by deciding how big I want my bow to be, and I'm going to do it probably about 6 inches. I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, 8 inches. So if you didn't know what I was doing, like this much of your thumb is supposed to be about 1 inch. Good enough for me. All right, and then I'm going to just go back and forth with my ribbon. So some people go back and forth, some people fold it over on itself. I don't know that there's one way better than the other. All right, so then we have about the middle of it. So in the middle of it, I'm just going to cut in about 1 inch. Now I don't want to cut all the way through, but I want to cut up enough that I can get the wire around it. And so there's probably about 1 inch. I think I'm going to go just a little bit more so that I can twist this a little better. Then you just take your wire and just go right in the middle of it. Okay, and then we're going to tie the ribbon down. So I have this one piece that's not in there, but that's okay because I'll end up cutting that piece off. Okay. So that makes your bow in the middle. I just want to make sure this is tight. Okay. All right, then what you do is you open up your bow, and then you'll be able to twist it around to make your pieces. Okay, and you're going to have your pieces off to the side here, and then you're going to have your long pieces here. So we're going to take one of these and we're going to wrap it around. I'm going to make sure which side here. So we want to wrap it around. I'm going to take this one in the middle, turn it and wrap it around. Let me open up my wire here and bring it around to the front. Okay, and then I'm going to do my V's here. Sometimes you just have to work with these. Don't be afraid, and you can take it apart and redo it. It's not a big deal. I think practice makes perfect, just like anything else. Okay, so I've got that. And then I've got some greenery here. These are the eucalyptus leaves, which I like on the flowers. I'm going to need to get some wire cutters because this is too thick for these little tiny scissors. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off, leave enough stem here so they're hanging out pretty far. I'll just take the opposite side, cut that one off, and see how many I want. Maybe a little bit more than that, so maybe 2 more. Now you can also do, because this is Christmas, you can also do, if you have some tree branches, go to the thrift store, get some trees, and go to town, or an old wreath. You can use some of the Christmas branches off of that. And then I also like to use red. Red makes everything pop. So I could add some loop-de-loos here. Try not to flatten your bow at the same time. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this first and then I'll attach that. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, get some more wire. And get these all attached together. Flip it over, twist it on this side. And get back around, get through these branches so they're not falling. Just get it all stuck together best you can. No rhyme or reason, just get it together. Okay, and then wrap the rest of your wire around. Okay, I think I might do a little bit more. Now I can round my bow onto it. I'm just going to attach it to the back, pull it really taut, twist it. And then position my bow. Okay, now to attach the bow, I'm going to go ahead and use my glue gun to do this. And I'm going to do it right here at the bottom of my bow. And I'm going to get some glue all over this bow. And on the greenery as well. And then I'll come back and staple the bow on, but just to get it where I want it, I'm gonna stick it like this and stick this bottom bow down right here, because I want that to be adhered to the sign right there, covering all the other parts. A little bit seeping through, so I'm just gonna peel that up real quick. And then I'm gonna get on the back, flip it over, make sure that I've got enough glue over here, adhering it. Just want to make sure that there's enough pieces glued down to my board. Okay. So that it's not coming off, and then I can work with positioning the bow where I want it before I actually tack it down. Okay. Not too sure that, I don't know about this red piece here, but I don't want my words covered up. It's okay if it covers it just a little bit, but ideally you don't. And then these need to be big and round. This one wants to keep popping back, so let's get these moved over a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I found some little red velvet leaves that I had in my stash. So I'm just gonna glue gun them to my bow here so they stick and stay where I want them. This will also help hide some of the other pieces on my bow and keep these back pieces up. Let me get that attached here, which is helpful. And that'll keep my bow staying nice and round. And then I just took them and wrapped them around some of these leaves here to pop off the side. So there is the final sign. Get all this glue again on. Okay, that's our final sign, and I do want to point out that I did not shellac this at this point just for the sake of the video, but I would have did a coat of polyurethane onto this. You could spray it or use the other kind. Just make sure it's not the yellowing kind, because you wouldn't want your whites to yellow. And then you're ready to go. And then I would just add a hanger to the back, but I would also take my staple gun and staple in the back the bow to the wood. So I hope you enjoyed that and that you find this to be a nice Christmas door hanger, even cute enough for a gift for somebody.